On January 1st, 2012, Da'ai TV launched an HD channel to provide more quality programming, as well as enhance its viewers' experiences of their favorite programs. In Haiti, Tzu Chi broke ground on 3 schools it is helping to rebuild for a Catholic organization.
I can't win, and I hope that I will see it.
Working with Tzu Chi.
Donate money to us to build this project.
In 2010, a major earthquake struck Haiti, claiming over 300,000 lives. In 2012, a cholera outbreak affected over 500,000 people there.
Helping, getting money.
Coming together.
After the quake, Tzu Chi held a donation drive worldwide to help the Haitian people rebuild their lives. Inspired, many locals signed up as Tzu Chi volunteers.
They will be the very best Tzu Chi volunteers.
The head of the Catholic organization expressly flew from Canada to Taiwan to thank Tzu Chi for helping rebuild their schools.
上人想要做的事情哦，那弟子就
Tzu Chi also helped to rebuild a kindergarten in Haiti. In February, Tzu Chi volunteers from 13 countries and regions gathered at Tzu Chi headquarters in Taiwan for a board meeting, including Singapore, Hong Kong,
善的种子可以在社区里面呢进一步的传扬。
Malaysia, the Philippines,
自己人安邦立国，使命必达。
Indonesia,
重要的是让上人安心。
and the US. In February, much of Europe was affected by a deadly cold wave. Amidst the freezing cold, Tzu Chi volunteers in Europe gathered in France to celebrate the inauguration of the first Tzu Chi office in Europe. 1 year after the major earthquake struck Japan, Tzu Chi held a photo exhibition on its relief work there.
市民の代表で本当にお礼を申し上げたいと思います。本当にありがとうございます。
In the wake of the quake, Tzu Chi immediately brought material and monetary aid, as well as loving care to survivors.
その時の交流、温かさ、被災地では大いに勇気づけられたのではないかというふうに思います。 In March, Tzu Chi members in eastern Taiwan presented a musical adaptation of the Water Repentance text. Before the presentation, everyone made time to practice, no matter where they were.
开盘前是我了。
对家里总是觉得亏欠蛮多的。
用佛法来洗涤心灵，我们这个社会会更好。
很多很多的反省是需要去改过的。
总共一句就是念，这个念不是那个念，迄个欢喜的念。
Students from Tzu Chi's schools also took part.
就让我不骂人了，就觉得很忏悔啊。
The students even practiced in the rain. Children from a Tzu Chi kindergarten also took part in the presentation. In April, Tzu Chi celebrated its 46th anniversary. At the Jingsi abode, a Dharma service was held. Tzu Chi volunteers overseas also participated in the service simultaneously via video conferencing. For Tzu Chi volunteers overseas, the occasion was a rare opportunity to connect with their spiritual home and their spiritual mentor, Dharma Master Zheng Yan. By saving a handful of rice from every meal, everyone can help to feed the needy. This is a practice of many people in Myanmar. With the quality rice seeds given by Tzu Chi, many farmers in Myanmar have had bountiful harvests. To give back, they started saving up rice to help those worse off than them. Despite being poor and ill, this farmer still saved up rice every day to help the needy. In May, Tzu Chi volunteers in 34 countries and regions held Buddha Day ceremonies to commemorate Buddha Day, Mother's Day, and Tzu Chi Day. Dharma masters from the Jingsi abode rehearsed for the ceremony time and again, even in the rain.
所有我们佛教的团体都有应该是有学习。
慈济继续这份有意义的工作。
In the Philippines, although it rained heavily on the day of the Buddha Day ceremony, over 15,000 people came for the event, making it the largest ceremony of all. On that day, there was also a rice distribution for the poor, and an activity was also held to promote filial piety. A street in Marikina City was also renamed as Tzu Chi Street.
However, Tzu Chi Foundation didn't stop in helping the Filipinos.
In San Mateo, Tzu Chi volunteers launched a Cash for Work program, paying locals to clean up their homes after a flood. Over 300 locals from Marikina came to lend a hand. They were inspired to help because Tzu Chi went to their aid when Marikina was hit by a severe flood back in 2009. In the Philippines, a cycle of love and goodness has been created and will continue to extend endlessly. In June, a training camp for overseas Tzu Chi volunteers was held in Taiwan.
They talk and do the action. That's why I agree to join that.
Master's teaching, the poor can give and develop the capacity and develop the love and the spirit of service. And that's what Tzu Chi means.
In June, Tzu Chi volunteers in South Africa held winter aid distributions for the needy. Currently, there are over 5,000 Zulu volunteers caring for over 5,000 orphans and 1,500 AIDS patients in South Africa.
They help them to help themselves, which I think is wonderful. You know, it isn't charity.
The volunteers also went to Lesotho and Mozambique to bring care and aid to the needy.
Do Tzu Chi work helping my own people.
You teach love.
Though impoverished, these South African Tzu Chi volunteers vow to walk the Tzu Chi path and follow Master Zheng Yan with firm and unwavering steps. In Zimbabwe, these children have their classes out in the open, without a proper shelter to shield them from heat and cold. In July, Tzu Chi volunteers built transitional classrooms for the children. The volunteers also provided them with lunch. For many of them, it was their only meal that day. Students in Taiwan donated stationery to the children in Zimbabwe.
Precious, much precious to us.
In July, Tzu Chi's Collegiate and Teachers Associations celebrated their 20th anniversary. A convention was held in Taiwan to mark the special occasion.
传道授业解惑，你的孩子好，别人家孩子也要好，这个社会才会好。
就把它化身为叫做精神教学。
At the convention, everyone made vows to diligently follow Master Zheng Yan on the Tzu Chi path. In late July, Typhoon Saola started to affect Taiwan, triggering mudslides and cutting off roads. The typhoon brought heavy rain, causing flash flooding in many places. Concerned about the disaster situation, Master Zheng Yan personally visited the disaster areas. Dharma masters from the abode and Tzu Chi volunteers immediately mobilized to bring aid supplies as well as care and support to those affected. In China, continued heavy rain caused widespread flooding in many provinces. Aid supplies from Tzu Chi poured in within a week. Volunteers from Taiwan and China worked together to provide aid.
4年了，我们还在，我们更应该关心我们自己的家人。
4 years ago, Tzu Chi went to Sichuan to help those affected by an earthquake. 4 years later, they are inspired to help the flood victims.
因为是支援我们甘心耶。正言与全球慈济人如同身受。
Whenever there is a disaster, Tzu Chi volunteers will be there to help. In August, Tzu Chi volunteers organized prayer events across the world to promote correct beliefs, filial piety, and vegetarianism. Dharma services were also held at the abode. 2 Taiwanese operas adapted from Buddhist sutras were presented in Taipei to share the true meaning of filial piety with the public. In September, members of Tzu Chi International Medical Association from 19 countries and regions gathered in Taiwan for their annual convention.
Compassionate medicine means not only this, but also this.
They participated in a surgical simulation and commemorated the body donors and 2 deceased TIMA members. One of them was Dr. Cai Zongxian. Though physically challenged, he seized every chance to join Tzu Chi's medical outreaches.
随时随地能够都去当别人的贵人的话，我相信那是我想要的。
The other one was Dr. Liu Xiuquan in the Philippines. In 1995, he helped to organize Tzu Chi's Medical Association in the Philippines. Since then, they've been providing medical care to the poor in remote areas.
天不怕
地不怕，只听上人的话。
所以不管我是身体怎么样，我都能够做得到的，我都要做到。
In China, Tzu Chi's Health Promotion Center in Suzhou opened.
以人本医疗之情怀守护健康。
好，自己开车。
院长你好，
你就这样到处跑啊？啊？
别坐，
没关系啊，跟你一样。
A training camp was held for all medical staff. Tzu Chi first set foot in China when it was affected by widespread flooding in 1991. Over the past 20 years, Tzu Chi has done much relief work all across China.
以大爱的精神，对大陆同胞做出了大量的慈善的事业，表示衷心的感谢。
The Tzu Chi Foundation Canada, organized in 1992.
This year marks the 20th anniversary of Tzu Chi Canada. 4 cities in British Columbia designated September 1st as Tzu Chi Day.
We all succeed together and we all win together.
Anytime I've ever asked for help, I make one phone call and they're there in spades.
In October, Tzu Chi Australia celebrated its 20th anniversary. Last year, Eastern Australia suffered from floods, and Tzu Chi went to give aid. In the wake of the floods, Sister Angela wrote a letter to the mayor of Ipswich, one of the worst-hit areas, to recommend Tzu Chi for the relief work. To thank Tzu Chi for its help, the mayor came to Taiwan to express his gratitude. On his trip to Hualien, he even helped to collect donations for Tzu Chi. He also visited Tzu Chi's care recipients.
And that lifting up gives them so much strength that they become a person on their own strength.
On October 7th, the largest Jingsi Hall in the world was inaugurated in Indonesia.
我也到你那里去，不要说我没有去参加哦，我真的也是参加在这一刻哦，哈，感恩哦。
In 1993, Tzu Chi started its work in Indonesia. In 2002, heavy rain caused flooding in Jakarta, submerging those living in the shacks along the Angki River for more than a month. Feeling for them, Tzu Chi cleaned up the river and built a village for people to relocate to. A school was also built in the village for their children to attend. In 2007, the local government renamed a section of the river Tzu Chi Angki River. In Bahasa Indonesia, Tzu Chi sounds like the words clear stream. Due to the ongoing conflict in Syria, more than 200,000 people have fled to Jordan. In November, Tzu Chi volunteers brought aid to the Syrian refugees taking shelter in Jordan. Tzu Chi volunteers also shared with the locals video clips of Tzu Chi's work. In Taiwan, Tzu Chi volunteers were collecting second-hand clothing for Syrian refugees, hoping to bring them warmth in the bitter cold of winter. In late November, Tzu Chi volunteers from 23 countries and regions came to Taiwan to be certified by Master Zheng Yan in person.
等了很多年的事情终于成型了。3年，我回来了。
我们让您久等了。我们带着感恩而来，我们将带着责任和使命回去。感恩上人。紧追随您。
In late October, Hurricane Sandy struck the U.S., devastating the entire eastern seaboard, with particularly severe damage in greater New York.
This is a serious and big storm.
Over 8 million homes and businesses were out of power. Tzu Chi volunteers immediately mobilized to prepare hot meals for those affected.
They were out there on the first day immediately after the storm, helping people, delivering food, clothing, supplies, whatever was needed.
I'm number 1 and I came at 1:15.
We've been here since 1:15 this morning.
In the freezing cold, Tzu Chi volunteers gave out blankets, debit cards, and other supplies.
Other people that actually need it.
You're doing so much for the people, and there's no other way that they could get this.
Tzu Chi volunteers' love has warmed many people's hearts.
Make them feel as much as I can the sense of love and peace that I experienced when I had a chance to speak with Dharma Master Cheng Yang.
At the same time, Tzu Chi volunteers worldwide mobilized to solicit donations for Sandy survivors.
是谁敲响了记忆的钟？只能让风把心意随远送。
It's important. Thank you so much.
And this is very helpful. It's incredibly generous.
And a lot of people are happy here because they'll be better for it.
Our blood is all red, right?
God bless you. Thank you.
Even as 7 years old, can have on the community.
Just really heartwarming that people actually care, come from around the world to help.
遥远这个多